Intrusive thought is insidious. It comes with this experience that there's something wrong with me. I need to figure it out. Need to analyze. And so when you're having intrusive thoughts, it can be very uncomfortable because it's such a distraction. But you see, the irony of it is that trying to get rid of intrusive thoughts by thinking invents a vicious circle, a Chinese finger trap of the mind. Everybody wants to understand how to end rumination. And the reality is you have to give up thinking and analyzing and figuring it out. That the process of figuring it out is the perpetuation that there's something to figure out. Looking within your mind for the something that is wrong with me, fails to recognize that the something that is wrong is the something that is wrong. That the something wrong, the notion that there's something wrong, is creating the experience. So the experience that there's something wrong is causing you to look for itself. So you're creating this experience that there's something wrong here, something wrong with me, and then you're going within your mind to look for it. And you've got other triggers. This notion that there's something not good enough about you. I'm not enough. Brokenness, stuckness, feeling paralyzed, confusion. This experience also can provoke confusion, a fear-based uncertainty. And so it's as if your sense of having a broken mind is causing you to try to fix the mind using the broken mind. And it doesn't work. Because you experience this brokenness, you experience that there's something wrong, and now you're trying to use the mind that is in this experience that there's something broken and wrong to fix itself. It's as if you broke your arm and then tried to use it to make a cast for itself. And what if it's just an experience? And so you're experiencing that there's something wrong with you, and the continuity of that experience is the validation you give it by asserting it's true, by trying to fix it. And so you perpetuate it in a vicious circle, ruminating, looking for that something. And that's the basis of all the psychology, all of this need, all of your efforts to fix yourself and change yourself, improve yourself, all stem from one fundamental, inauthentic notion that you're broken, that you're not enough, that there's something wrong. And the truth of the matter is, that's the primary way in which you experience life, that you live into a someday fantasy future where you've figured out this something or fixed it. You've overcome, you've healed. You've proven yourself that you want to build a fantasy life to immunize yourself from the judgment of others. You worry about their thoughts. You cater your entire life in the avoidance of failure, rejection, and abandonment. And you go through this process over and over and over. And as you improperly contextualize your life as nothing but one big game, one big goal, you continue to go down the same path, the same patterns, because this is your pattern. Your pattern is figured out, try to be perfect. And as you try to become good enough, as life keeps triggering you into self-improvement, you're open to manipulation, gaslighting, coercion. You're trying to fit in. You're trying to people please. You're trying to get people to like you just so you don't feel not good enough anymore. Just so the fear of rejection, abandonment, not belonging will go away. And you think once you're perfect, once you're more beautiful, once you have more money, once you have demonstrated that you're good enough, then it'll all be better someday. And that illusion always causes betrayal. That illusion always causes betrayal because it's not true. And because these powerful emotions are cattle prodding you through life, you're not actually related to reality. you're projecting. You're projecting your fear of failure onto life, your fear of rejection, your fear of abandonment. And the irony of your projected fears is you fulfill them through avoidance. Oh, if you start procrastinating in the avoidance of failure, if you find yourself a risk-free comfort zone, then you're going to retroactively realize you are a failure. You're being the reject through the avoidance of rejection. You become the embodiment of rejection when you avoid rejection. You become the embodiment of failure when you avoid it. You become the embodiment of the abandoned when you avoid the risk of abandonment. Because guess what abandonment does? It isolates you, and now you feel alone and abandoned because you're avoiding relationships, or it triggers you to attach to someone. And so when someone triggers your abandonment fear, they're potentially being very abusive to you. You try to be good enough to make them stop because you're afraid of abandonment. So abandonment anxiety causes you to attach yourself to the people that trigger you. And that becomes your codependent relationship. Your fears become entirely, repeatedly fulfilled. And as you do that, and you create the failures, you create the abandonments and rejections, you continue to gather evidence to support that those are valid things to avoid. And you keep the pattern going. And you think you need to improve yourself. You think you need to get better. You think you need to heal. And so you try to compensate for all of those things that you are perpetuating upon yourself, that you're creating that you're not enough, and then you're fearing it, and you're creating that you could be rejected, and you're fearing it, and so you act inauthentic in avoidance of rejection, limiting your self-expression, and so you have completely boxed yourself in. Like you're so afraid to speak up. You're so afraid to step up. You're so afraid to take action. You're so afraid of your own automatic reactions that you perpetuate those reactions through inaction and avoidance, through lacking the ability to trust anybody. You project this onto life and lose all capacity to observe and distinguish life. You can't tell who to trust or not trust if you fear them both because they look the same. So you're afraid of all men, afraid of all women, and so you throw the baby out with the bathwater. And you forfeit the discernment. You can't tell the difference. And the only people that are equipped to deal with you are the manipulators, are the users, because you're blind, because you're spinning out and running in a circle. You're so needy for validation. You're so needy for love. You're so needy for success. You're so needy because you keep creating and perpetuating your own failures and rejections. And so you only increase your desire, your want, your need. And that becomes the basis of your hopes, your fantasies, your attachments, your idealizations that you're unwilling to let go of because you've been doing this your whole life. You're so thirsty for love, failing to see it all around you all the time. And you think it's rare because you can't experience it anyway. And so if you have past-based trigger emotions defining the architecture of your reality, everything that you want and hope to achieve is certainly achievable. And unfortunately, it will not produce the peace, the love, the happiness, and the joy that you imagine. That happiness, peace, love, joy is only available in the moment, and it is never conditioned upon circumstance. And as long as you live in the illusion that you need to fix, change, and do something to get somewhere else, you will miss out that there is only here and now. And so as you live into a future, your proverbial deal with the devil has cost you everything. It's cost you now, and now, and now. The only moment that has ever existed is now. And you can't see it because you're too busy in your fantasy.